Good enough. Listen, we can't.
It's been a little over a week since we've been on.
Yeah.
It's been a busy, good couple of weeks, or a week. I guess it hasn't been that long. Only been 8 days since the last one. We did some projects with some friends of ours. We did Andy at Code Zero Radio, which was an interview, just kind of for internet radio, talking about my history in the Green Bay punk scene and doing shows with my band here, and then getting involved in the music industry, and so that was kind of exciting and fun, and something different to do. It was a good time. And then Joel Miller, who does the Party Like a Rock Star, they had this podcast with Chad Olick a couple of years ago, and we became friends. And then he's doing something new now, which is thing of we'll hopefully have links to all of this, but he pulls up videos, mostly like international music videos, and he just films my reaction to them, and then we talk a little bit about them, which was cool because I love doing that anyways. And he had some cool stuff. He had some J-rock stuff, which is Japanese rock, which I'm a big fan of. The first time I went to Japan, kind of got stuck out in the suburbs of Tokyo, and the only TV to watch that I could understand was music, because even though I didn't understand the language, I got the vibe of it. And that's where I discovered at the drive-in tortoise too, because they were huge there. They actually played their videos on TV there. So because I like J-rock, he played mostly J-rock videos, which were cool. A lot of like baby metal type stuff, which I love. And then he turned me on to this new, I don't know how new he is, new to me, Ren, R-E-N. If you don't know him, check him out, especially the video, Hi Ren. It's life-changing. It's spectacular. It's one of the coolest things I've ever seen. If you're friends with me on Facebook, you've already seen me going off about this and telling people to check it out.
And he's sexy.
And he looks like the guy from Peaky Blinders.
Yes.
Yeah, and Stacey says he's sexy.
He is. You have to admit that he's
sexy. I said he's very attractive. He's a very attractive young man with Lyme disease, and so he's in some issues that he's not afraid to talk about, which is very refreshing. Also went to see Pantera, thanks to my friend Rob from Lamb of God. Hooking up Zach and I, my son Zach, who's about to go up on the Peso Puma tour with my good friend Colin West. Good luck to them on that. Zach has known Colin since Zach was in his probably preteen, so he's known Colin for in the early 90s. Zach's been touring now for, I believe, 30 years almost. So,
Are you talking about your son?
No, 20.
Okay.
No, 18. So 20 years. 20 years. Yeah, I'm not that old. 20 years he's been touring, and he's known Colin almost all that time, or prior to that, when Zach was a young kid, still I think in junior high they've known each other. So I'm excited that they'll be touring together for the first time. And what else we got, Stacy?
Those were all of your updates. Now you have some questions from some of your friends.
We have some questions from my crazy friend Kayla, who used to work for a few past companies in Reno and now lives, I believe, in Northern California with her husband and children. She's one of my oldest friends and a real sweetheart. And she's got some good questions regarding Parkinson's. And I'm going to answer this isn't anything that the doctor would say. This is just my experience and what I feel about it. And she's got a great sense of humor, so there's some good, funny questions in here too.
Do you want me to read them or are you going to read them? Yes. What is something your friends and family don't know or that you would like them to know about your daily experience living with Parkinson's?
just that it's a consistent thing that I deal with, whether it be especially the walking, the tremor, the things that come with my with with a bad sense of balance, and with my hand. Like um, the worst part is just anything I'm doing. I write with my right hand. I didn't have great penmanship before. Now it's pretty much, in some ways, it's gotten better because now I actually have to really think about it and do it. But it's like if I try to do anything fast, it's just a line with scribbles. It doesn't work. I think that those are the biggest things right now, and just being really careful of walking. I've not fallen once yet, but it's something that I'm conscious of all the time because it's just one bad step away. And I think Michael J. Fox and Billy Connolly, who are a couple of the more famous people that have Parkinson's, have said they've had broken bones, a few broken bones a year from just bad falls, and so that's something I'm very conscious of, and walking, yeah. So
Right.
next,
This may be somewhat related, but what does your mind feel like?
For the most part, it's normal, but there is a slowness to it. And it might not have anything to do with the Parkinson's. It might just do with age. It might have to do with the stroke that I had before the Parkinson's diagnosis, which I was fully recovered from. But if there's some lagging from that, the doctors don't know either. They can just guess. But it's forgetting words, which things that happen as you grow older, anyways. Having to think things through longer, forgetting things. That's probably the biggest thing, and then also, which I haven't um, I haven't dealt with as much since I've been diagnosed, but just I realized that stress and anxiety are part of the symptoms too, and that dealing with those, that was my biggest symptom when I decided to go off the road for a bit and take the break and not continue touring a couple of years ago, was that it was becoming I would sit at my computer sometimes for hours, like frozen, not able to focus or to complete a task, and that's something that's waned, but it's something I'm conscious of.
Okay. What does your body feel like?
Pretty normal. Like sitting here, I have the tremor in my hand, so that is something I'm conscious of. My leg, I've always had shaky legs, so that doesn't affect me as much, as I'm not as conscious of that. Other than that, it's pretty normal. I don't, if I'm just sitting around. I mean, when I go to get up, it takes me longer to get up. Might wake up in the morning, my muscles are get Charlie horses a lot, which I never had before. Stiffness, which I never had before. I do stretching exercises to kind of deal with that. But nothing that horribly that I'm dealing with, other than like the hand. Even I don't really deal with unless it's something I'm doing with my hand, like getting dressed or writing or something like that. Or it's because it's always shaking. It's sore too, so there's a weakness to it that I deal with. But that's really the only thing that I'm conscious of on a moment by moment basis.
And also, we're supposed to be going to the gym more and getting more exercise.
Yeah.
Goals.
Yeah.
All right. Next, what does your spiritual life feel like?
I've never really had any, so it's not really.
I'm carrying the spiritual life.
Yeah, Stacy covers that for both of us. I don't really, it is what it is. I accept it for what it is. I deal with it for what it is, and I don't praise anybody or blame anybody for it. It's my thing to deal with.
Okay. What does it feel like when you're having a flared day?
I don't really have a flared day. It's consistent. It's always kind of there. I mean, there are moments, like I said earlier, when I feel a stiffness. I feel my arm or cramping from muscles just being stiff, but I don't have necessarily a flare up. It's just I mean, it's worse some days. Some things get worse, but it's a consistency that isn't really that much different from day to day. It's a consistent thing.
All right. What is it? Is becoming a burden to your wife and family the biggest fear that you have going into this?
I'd say yes. I've always been a burden. Now I'm just a bigger burden, but yes, I think that's my biggest fear is having to, especially with Stacy being so much younger, than wasting her life away, taking care, having to deal with this doting old man with a neurological disease. It just doesn't seem fair to me. But
No.
yeah. So yeah, I'd say the biggest fear, like dying. Also, I mean, I don't want to be burdened with like having a body and allowed to be real honest and blunt, like having a body that's destroyed and that I can't communicate, that I can't walk, that I can't get around, that I have to be fed with a tube or hand fed, is not a life that I really want to be a part of. So it's something on the ongoing of dealing with it that I you know that I live with on a day to day basis and have to be aware of.
I want to say something on this one.
You can say whatever you want, whenever you want. You usually do. That's what I appreciate about you. Oh, you're coming on camera?
Maybe, should I?
I don't know if that's allowed, but okay.
What?
I'm joking.
I want to say something. Can I?
Yes.
I want to say that. Wait, tell me if I'm right. I feel like I've always acknowledged that, like, because there is an age difference between us, that, like, there would come a time where I would have to step forward more as, like, the person who was, like, stepping into a different stage of my career and, like, financially supporting us. And that I want to do that in a way where I can build a life where I'm home and, like, making money doing what I love, and that it doesn't even feel like work, and that we just have a life where we're going to be together a lot and make money doing things that are important. And I don't see it that way. I really feel, honestly, though, that if that situation won't work out to our benefit.
Well, I appreciate that.
You don't agree?
I just want you to be taken care of, and you have a good life. I don't want to hold you back because my body's dying.
Well, this might surprise you, but I don't only just love you for your body.
Next question.
Do you accept shaky jokes?
Kayla, this is a Kayla joke between her and I. As long as apparently she no longer has clown issues, but she used to have clown issues, and I love nothing better than to send her pictures of scary clowns. So yes, I do. I have a sense of humor about the whole thing. It's why I jokingly call myself Shakes. I'm not saying I'm not sad about it. I'm not saying that I don't have emotions about it, but it's not something. If you can't laugh at life's woes, then what do you got?
If you become mobile on wheels, what color wheelchair would you get? And is it electric?
Kayla, you shouldn't have to even ask that. It's black like my soul. What else would I like? Red, blue, like no black, of course.
One last one here. Oh wait, this is an important one. Are you part of Anonymous?
I wish I was, but no, I'm not.
And then, okay, one last one from Kayla. What were your early symptoms, and what would you say to someone who is recently diagnosed or feels like they may have early onset symptoms?
Well, mine was weird because I assumed when I came home from tour and that I went to that, I assumed it was something to do with the stroke I'd had 2 years prior, year and a half prior. So I assumed it had to do with that. So I didn't really think about anything else. And if you read anything about Parkinson's, they will say like, tremors or things like that aren't necessarily. There are many, 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 many things that Parkinson's has similar symptoms to. So they don't. They usually don't give you a diagnosis, or they look for other things, and they brain scans and things like that. With me, they my my general practitioner said right away, he thought when I said, we went through everything, and I said, well, what do you think is the stroke? And he's like, no, I think it's Parkinson's. What did he say? The tremor in my hand.
It was because of the frequency of your
the frequency of the tremor in my hand, that they thought that he thought it was right away. He said, but he sent me to a neurologist, and the neurologist said right away, he said, you have a clear case. He goes, I really wouldn't even need to get the brain scans to see to diagnose you, but obviously he did, and we did. But he said, it was obvious that there was a clear-cut case of it. So I would tell anybody that tremors, and my doctor went through a list of things which I didn't even, I had a swallowing thing that wasn't even conscious. I wasn't conscious of it. I just thought it was something that I went to swallow, and it like stopped, and I couldn't swallow, and then I sat for a second and swallowed. Nothing panicky or nothing. It was just more of that was odd, and it happened like 2 or 3 times. But that was one of the symptoms, and he went through all this, like the anxiety was a symptom. He just went through this list of stuff, and like 90% of them were things I was dealing with, things that I didn't even think were things, like that I was like, oh, that is a thing, like the swallowing thing. I never thought that would be, never thought of that as being something to do with physically what I was dealing with. Thought it was more just a fluke or a weird anomaly. And I would say go to the doctor, and also get second opinions, which the doctor more likely will do in most cases, because like they're not going to say it's Parkinson's right away, because it could be many other things. And I would say just go to the doctor, and then deal with it. That's all you can really do. Anything else? Ryan Harrington, your laminate is on its way. I'll get that to hopefully this week. If anybody wants laminate from our wedding, just send me your address. Please subscribe, share, like, whatever it is to increase our thing. We want to, start a dialogue with people. So I want to talk about my life. Don't talk about my friendships, how I know you, how we love stories. Thanks Lenny Rogers, stage manager of To the Stars, sent me a nice message about, which we'll discuss, about a road memory, and a few other people have too. So anything you want to talk about, anything you want to know, anything, and I just want to thank for all the support we've gotten, and so far only positive responses. I mean, please be honest if there's something that we're working on getting. Our Andy from Code Zero gave us a mic, so hopefully we need to get some cables, and we'll get that set up hopefully in the next couple of videos.
We do acknowledge that we are lacking in
technical
skills, but we're motivated.
Yeah.
Trust me, I'm very motivated to have this be something that blooms into a much more polished thing, but it's real.
Yeah, it's definitely real. So I think that's it for now. I think the next one, we're gonna talk about Minneapolis. And speaking of, it's Conrad from First Avenue's birthday today. If you're at First Avenue this week, or I'm in Minneapolis and you see Conrad, wish him a happy birthday. I wouldn't be here without him. He was a big influence, even though he hated me for years. He became a big part of my Minneapolis life and my being accepted and part of that world. He was a big part of that, and he's a amazing human being. So happy birthday, Conrad. See y'all soon.